Welcome to my guide on Burnice. I will make sure to leave timestamps throughout the video to make navigation easier if you're back for a second viewing, or if you're just looking for specific information. Watching the whole video will give you a better understanding of how Burnice functions and her role in any team, but if you're just looking for quick build recommendations, I will provide some at the end of the video. Burnice White is an S-rank fire melee anomaly unit, and is a part of the Sons of Caledon faction. She will function great as an on-field damage dealer, but her kit emphasizes her power as an off-field DPS, thanks to her unique heat mechanic and debuff that allows for consistent fire damage and anomaly application. Her passive damage also allows any squad member to apply the burn anomaly effect, further emphasizing her power in double anomaly teams due to the ease of triggering the disorder anomaly effect. Even though most of Burnice's time will be spent off-field, she comes onto field in short burst rotations meant to refill her heat gauge and dish out tons of fire anomaly. Her goal is to never run out of heat, because if the gauge never empties, the fire application never disappears, meaning we'll want to keep an eye out on both heat and energy during combat. Burnice will shine in double anomaly teams, but thanks to her off-field power, she will be a great addition to any team with a field time hogging main DPS. Let's start off with Burnice's skills and abilities. Some of these skills are quite long-winded, but let's go over them so that we understand her kit and can work from there. The first thing we need to talk about is Burnice's unique heat gauge, which we can see under her health bar. When this bar glows, it indicates that Burnice is in her nitro fuel cocktail state. She will stay in this powered up state until the bar is fully drained, but can quickly re-enter it again by gaining another 50 heat. She regains heat by expending energy or by using her ultimate. Luckily, this bar is full at the start of combat, so we can instantly go into the next part of her passive. When hitting an enemy with Burnice's special basic attack, her EX special, a chain attack, or her ultimate, she applies the Scorch debuff to the target. This debuff doesn't do anything by itself, but it stays on all targets it was applied to until Burnice's heat gauge is completely empty. The real power of the Scorch effect lies in the Afterburn effect, which is activated when another squad member hits a target with Scorch on them. When this happens, Afterburn will drain 8 heat from Burnice and will damage the affected enemy with fire damage equal to a percentage of Burnice's base attack. This fire damage will cause anomaly buildup even when Burnice isn't on field. There is an internal cooldown of 1.5 seconds before the effect can be triggered again, meaning we can't trigger this effect on multiple targets in quick succession. However, if we have multiple targets affected by burn and use an ability that hits all of them, they will all take fire damage from the Afterburn effect, while still only draining 8 heat from Burnice. The Afterburn damage double dips into both Burnice's base attack stat and base anomaly proficiency. For every 10 anomaly proficiency, the Afterburn damage is increased by 1% up to a cap of 30%, meaning we will need 300 anomaly proficiency to cap it out. Finally, in the last row of Burnice's core passive, it is mentioned that the damage from the Afterburn is considered as assist attack damage. This only means that it will activate certain buffs that require this interaction, so it's not something we need to worry about for the most part. Burnice's additional ability is activated by either having another member of the Sons of Caledon or another anomaly unit in her squad. When it's active, the fire anomaly buildup of her special basic attack, her EX specials, and the Afterburn effect is increased by 65%. And as another bonus, the anomaly effect caused by fully filling up the anomaly bar with fire, burn, will be extended from its normal 10-second duration to 13 seconds. Without going into details about how anomaly or disorder damage functions, this means that the fire disorder damage will be increased as well. It's a nice little bonus on top of everything else. Outside of Burnice's core passives, her next most important skill will be her EX special attack. With enough energy, tapping the EX special, Burnice will use one of her flamethrowers to spray fire, followed by an explosion. Holding down the button will extend the spray duration, draining 12.5 energy per second, ending with the same explosion. When spraying, we can adjust our position in any direction by inputting a direction on our movement keys. The movement performed while spraying acts as a dodge and can therefore activate a perfect dodge. It also resets the fire spray, allowing us to extend the spray duration further. For the second part of Burnice's EX special, she uses both of her flamethrowers at once, increasing the continuous fire damage and final explosion significantly, and also doubling the energy drain to 25 energy per second. We activate this second EX ability by tapping EX and then holding it down again, or by releasing the button while spraying and then holding it down. The energy drain for this second EX special may sound like a lot, but remember that Burnice always wants to be in her nitro state, and that each point of energy translates into heat. The EX double shot very quickly fills up this heat gauge and is an easy way to apply the scorched effect to any enemy hit by it. Burnice has a flashy 5-hit combo that flows nicely into itself. It might look like she has two versions of her first hit, but this is because she goes into her dash attack after the first 5th hit, meaning her combo string is basic attack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, into dash attack 2, 3, 4, 5, dash attack 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Unfortunately, outside of being very flashy, we don't have much use of the normal basic string. However, when Burnice is in her nitro state, she has a special basic attack. Holding down the attack button after any of Burnice's basic attacks will cause her to do a pirouette ending with a finishing move. This move consumes 20 heat, but will apply the scorched effect to any enemy hit by it. Holding down the EX button after the finishing move will also immediately start the EX double shot, quickly recovering the heat spent to apply the scorch. Burnice's quick assist is just a quick jab of physical and fire damage. She has a defensive assist, which she can follow up with a flashy upside down spin of fire damage around her. This follow up is another way for Burnice to go straight into her EX double shot. As for dodges, Burnice has a standard dodge that she can follow up with a dash attack where she slashes fire damage in front of her. And entering a perfect dodge, she can retaliate with a mix of physical and fire damage. For Burnice's chain attack, she sprays fire in all directions and ends it with another explosion dealing massive fire damage. Ending the chain on Burnice is yet another way for us to enter directly into the EX double shot, really emphasizing the importance to focus on quickly filling up her heat gauge. And finally, Burnice's ultimate, naturally being her highest damaging single hit ability, but also allowing for a quick assist after the animation finishes. Meaning in the team setup, we want to place her before our main on-field squad member so that we can easily swap onto them and continue dishing out damage after Burnice uses her ultimate. As a final bonus, the ultimate also instantly adds 50 heat to the heat gauge, to either fill up the gauge completely or instantly put Burnice into her nitro-fueled cocktail state if we accidentally left it. Now that we've gone over all the skills, the recommended priority when leveling them is going to be as seen here. As an off-field damage dealer, a large part of Burnice's damage will come from her afterburn effect. Leveling Burnice's core passive is the only way outside of gear for us to increase its damage and is therefore the highest priority. The next priority is Burnice's EX special. Outside of Burnice's ultimate damage, it's her highest damaging ability, which we will also be using whenever possible, because when we enter the field with Burnice, it will be mainly to recover heat and to apply more fire anomaly. EX double shot is the fastest way to do so, and it just happens to be the most damaging ability as well. And then the last real priority is her chain attack. Leveling it, we increase both Burnice's ultimate damage and chain attack damage, which is her third most potent hit. The remaining skills, basic, assist and dodge, I will leave up to personal preference to level depending on playstyle. They won't add much to Burnice's kit as an off-field DPS, however, leveling her basic could be something to look into if you find yourself staying on field to dish out more damage on Burnice to either recover energy or just for style points. Having Burnice in our squad, we will mainly need to keep track of two things, her heat gauge and her energy. Since our goal is to be in her nitro fuel cocktail state for as much of a combat scenario as possible, ideally never leaving it, having heat means we can continuously trigger the afterburn effect and in extension the burn anomaly, which will be our goal when using Burnice as an off-field damage dealer. To do this, we're going to focus on swapping Burnice in for short burst windows where she will apply as much burn anomaly as possible while expending energy to regain heat. Most of our methods of joining into the field will naturally lead into her EX double shot ability, which we will focus our gameplay around. But first, in order to trigger the afterburn effect, we first need to apply the scorched effect. At the start of a combat scenario, we are limited in how we can apply the scorched effect though. But a quick and easy way to do it is to use Burnice's special basic, causing any enemy hit to get affected by the debuff. If we have energy, we can then easily recover the expended heat by doing an EX special as well. Next, throughout the combat scenario, we have more ways to both apply Scorched if it falls off and also recover heat. The 4 ways I recommend to keep track of are in order of most to least damaging. Chain attack into EX special. Defensive assist into assist follow-up into EX special. Special basic into EX special. Tap EX special. Each method has its use case, so I recommend just getting a feel for when each one fits into your playstyle. Oh, and also don't be afraid to use Burnice's ultimate if low on heat, since it's another great way to cause a lot of anomaly buildup and instantly regain 50 heat. For Burnice's W engine, objectively, her signature engine, the Flamemaker Shaker, is going to be her best. So let's go over what it does. At rank 1, level 60, it gives 714 base attack and another 30% attack as an advanced stat. Then, the passive increases the energy regen by the user while off field by 0.6 energy per second. It also increases the equipper's damage by 3.5%, stacking 10 times, when their EX special or assist attack does damage, with an internal cooldown of 0.3 seconds. However, while off field, this stack effect is double, up to 70% damage increase. These stacks have a duration of 6 seconds, but can have its duration reset to max by another assist attack or EX special. If this stack is equal to or above 5, the user also gets 50 anomaly proficiency on top of everything else. This is a very strong W engine that does a lot of things for Burnice, but as with all signature W engines, it's not required to use Burnice. I would like to shout out Knackfrog's new Eridu Research Division series here, where he tested out Burnice's signature W engine and free-to-play options, coming to the conclusion that while all the bonuses are very nice, the passive energy regeneration is not a requirement, and that using other options will not be a detriment to Burnice's playstyle or damage. For more accessible options, we have 3 other W engines. Electro Lip Gloss from the Battle Pass, and from the Gadget Shop, Weeping Gemini and Rainforest Gourmet. If all W engines are at rank 1, Electro Lip Gloss will be our best choice thanks to the anomaly substat and its passive attack and damage when targets are affected by an attribute anomaly. With how easy it is for Burnice to apply burn, this will be a great boost. However, since Rainforest Gourmet and Weeping Gemini are a lot easier to get higher ranks for, Weeping Gemini will be the best W engine in most cases. Weeping Gemini gives 594 base attack and 25% attack as an advanced stat at rank 5. The passive also increases anomaly proficiency by 48, stacking up to 4 times to a total of 192 combat anomaly proficiency. We gain 1 stack every time we activate burn or any other anomaly effect, and the buff remains until the enemy is defeated or recovers from a stunned state. In a double anomaly DPS team, like the Jane and Burnice team, this buff will quickly reach its max versus most enemies. The only downside really is that it unfortunately doesn't really do anything versus smaller enemies or enemies that are very susceptible to being stunned. As for Rainforest Gourmet, I cannot really recommend it, since while the 75 anomaly proficiency is nice, the passive on the W engine only gives combat attack, which does not affect the damage of afterburn. But at rank 5 it's still going to be better than a rank 1 Electro Lip Gloss, since we can quickly reach max stacks in a rotation, increasing the damage of each swap onto Burnice a bit more. Now it's time for drive discs. As an off-field DPS, it's hard to argue against the Chaos Jazz drive disc set, since it's essentially made for Burnice. The 2-piece gives a nice boost to our anomaly proficiency, and the 4-piece increases fire and electro damage by 15%. Then, as a further bonus, EX special attacks and assist attacks gets another 20% damage increase while the wearer is off-field. This buff sticks around for 5 seconds after entering the field on the character using this set. In Burnice's description of her afterburn effect, it's specifically stated that it acts as assist attacks, and our main rotation on Burnice will be in short burst windows using her EX double shot ability, making this set perfect for her off-field quick swap playstyle. As for the other 2-piece, a safe bet is going to be Infernal Metal for the extra 10% fire damage, or Freedom Blues to either reach the 300 anomaly proficiency threshold for the afterburn bonus damage, or just to increase the damage of the burn anomaly. If you feel like you're missing out on energy while swapping in Burnice, you could go for Swing Jazz for the 20% energy regen as well. But I wouldn't recommend it, because with proper gameplay the energy should not be a problem. I again refer to Knackfrog's video on this topic. The main stat we're looking for on our drive discs will be Anomaly Proficiency for disc 4, Attack percent or Fire Damage percent on disc 5, and Anomaly Mastery or Attack percent on disc 6. The main stat we select depends on what secondary 2-piece set we go for and what W engine we decide to use. For disc 5, use Attack percent with Chaos Jazz and Infernal Metal, since we get a lot of Fire Damage percent already with the setup. In any other combination though, use Fire Damage percent here instead. For disc 6, use Anomaly Mastery if we use Weeping Gemini for the 30% faster anomaly application, and Attack percent in any other case. When it comes to substats to look out for, make sure to focus on Anomaly Proficiency first, just to make sure that we at least reach the threshold of 300 for the Afterburn damage bonus. Then look for an even mix of attack stats and Anomaly Proficiency to further boost Afterburn and the Burn anomaly respectively. Luckily, none of the other damage boosting stats are a waste on Burnice, since she can make use of crit, even though it's not a priority to get, and pen percent is always just a nice little bonus to have on top of everything. So in the end, my recommended priority will be Anomaly Proficiency up to 300, then Attack stats and Anomaly Proficiency equally, then crit rate, crit damage equal to pen and pen percent. I'm personally not a fan of getting more dupes of a character, I much prefer to have more characters to use in the end, but for a complete guide, here are her Mindscapes. M1. Increases Burnice's heat gauge from a max of 100 to 140. The Afterburn damage multiplier is also increased by 100% of Burnice's attack. And finally, the Fire Anomaly buildup of Afterburn is increased by another 25% as well. M2. Each time Afterburn is triggered, another debuff called Thermal Penetration is applied to the enemy. This debuff stacks up to 5 times and increases the pen ratio for the attacker up to 20%. M4. When an EX special or assist attack, Afterburn, hits an enemy, that attack will have an increased 30% crit rate. The spray duration of EX double shot will also be increased by 1 second. M6. When Burnice hits an enemy with EX double shot, a new Afterburn effect is triggered, dealing 60% of Burnice's attack as fire damage. This has an internal cooldown of 0.5 seconds and does not consume heat. The EX double shot will also ignore 25% fire resistance of a target when they are affected by this special Afterburn, the Burn anomaly, and the EX special itself. Finally, if an enemy is affected by the Burn anomaly, the final blast of the EX double shot will cause an additional burn equal to 1800% of the original damage. There is a 20-second cooldown between triggers of this nuke. In summary, Afterburn gets a lot more crazy with further copies of Burnice. Burnice will shine as an off-field damage dealer in most teams thanks to her essentially passive damage output and incredible anomaly buildup. However, she's going to excel in double anomaly teams focused on causing disorder damage. I would like to highlight the Burnice Jane combo since it's going to be the premium team to run thanks to them both enabling each other so well. In a Jane Burnice team, Burnice will truly shine thanks to all the damage she's able to output while Jane gets to hog as much field time as possible, quickly causing disorder anomalies. This team will definitely make the core of a very strong combo. That said, Burnice will function in a lot of teams, so I won't go into details about them, just show a few possible teams here on screen. I hope you were able to get something valuable out of this video and that it will help you improve your gameplay while using Burnice. Please like the video if you learned something, and subscribe for more future guides. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you here again.